Let me start with you. The money angle, the money ad certainly going with Warnock. The trend seems maybe to be going in Herschel Walker's favor in terms of in the last week. The distance of the polls has tightened up a lot. What does that tell you about tomorrow?
Well, I think what we're seeing is it's really high stakes. Obviously, the money really gives you an idea of how, both sides are really prioritizing this race. We've seen Democrats double what they actually spent in the previous election. And the stakes are really high here. What we're seeing is a Senate majority that could be controlled by one more Democrat, or, Republicans could have, more of a check on this administration. And as we know with Democrats, if they are able to achieve this one more seat, they would have one more seat on some of these committees. They would be able to, actually get through votes without some of these moderate Democrats like Sinema and Manchin being able to actually thwart it. So I think you're seeing a major increase, an all-out effort from both sides, but Democrats are really, they understand what is at stake here. I think they're also looking at the 2024 cycle. It's a very complex cycle with a lot of Democrats that are facing tough re-elections. So if they can get one more seat, it'll be good news for them.
Yeah, no more bait and switch for Manchin, I guess. Josh, there's already a lot of introspection going on within the Republican Party, even before the numbers are tallied up tomorrow. A lot of finger pointing. What do you make of just the message to the Republican Party? What do you make of the message?
Well, here's the statistic that Republicans are looking at. There were about 200,000 voters who voted for Republican Governor Brian Kemp in November, but either voted for Senator Warnock, the Democrat, left their ballot blank, or even voted for a libertarian candidate. So what Herschel Walker needs to do is get some of those Republican voters, those traditional Republican voters, to come back on the Republican team. I think it's going to be a little bit harder because the Senate majority now is not at stake. There is a lot of other Senate business that could make a difference when you get 51 seats versus 50 seats. But look, there are a lot of these suburban Atlanta voters who, because of Trump's endorsement of Walker, because he has made some stumbles on the campaign trail, just aren't as enthusiastic about their candidate. And that could make the difference. Even if Republicans show up, it's these small slice of suburban voters that could make the difference in what's likely to be a very close runoff election tomorrow.
Josh, to that point, we know often, people at times vote against something rather than for something. In this case, it feels like that's been one of the messages coming out of the Walker camp. And even when I listened to Raphael Warnock saying he won't do the bidding of any president, past or current, it's pretty clear that also Joe Biden is on the ballot to an extent also, isn't he?
Yeah, the most effective message that Walker has utilized on the campaign trail is that he is a check on Democratic power, on the ability for, in this runoff round, for Democrats to have subpoena power, full subpoena power on these committees. So that is the biggest driving force for Republicans to show up in Georgia. We do know that they have this early turnout, early voting right now, and Democratic turnout has been quite good, but there always is a likely wave of Republican turnout on election day. So the key, it always comes down to turnout, Charles, but the big question right now is, will Republicans show up in the same numbers for the runoff that they did in the November election?
And Samantha, I think a big part of that will be just how much the governor, Brian Kemp, can, he's obviously campaigned. Apparently he's shared resources with the Walker campaign. How important is it for him to try to drag Herschel Walker over the finish line?
Oh, absolutely. We saw Kemp really, trying to stay away from Walker during the, other election. And so it's a major change to see him really embracing Walker. And, what's really been interesting over the last couple of days, we have not seen Walker talk at all about Trump. There have been conversations behind the scenes about, with Walker's staff as well as Trump's staff saying that it wouldn't be a good idea for Trump to be out there for Walker. So I think that change in strategy, Kemp is somebody that is well liked by Georgians, and he could be someone that could help convince some of these hesitant voters to get out the vote and get, Walker over the finish line.
Yeah, well, it's another nail biter for sure. Josh, Samantha, thank you both very much.